Hilly H. Colson, welcome to Book Club.
Hi. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I am the biggest book club podcast fan. It's an honor to be here.
You're the best. I'm the biggest Hilly H. Colson
Oh
fan,
my
so the
goodness.
feeling is mutual.
I love it.
There's just nothing I love more than a romantic suspense written by you, so I'm so
Oh.
excited to be here. We're gonna have a blast.
hmm
I am so excited to chat about all the things because I feel like you have a lot going on at the moment. It's
Yes.
giving like Taylor Swift, like not a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like the most. I feel
Everything.
like that's us these days. Yeah,
Yes.
in the best way. And we'll get into it. I am
hmm
so excited to hear your perspective because I think you just have such a unique perspective on a lot of things. So I can't wait to dive into that. But first, you know the drill.
Oh
It's
yes.
time to discuss your reader and author villain origin stories. How did you get into reading? How did you get into writing? And you have a really unique, different career background, and I would
hmm
love for you to touch on that if you can.
I absolutely would love to talk about all of those things. So
Amazing.
honestly, I have my mom to thank for being a reader. I can remember being two or three, and she would read me Winnie the Pooh every single day before nap time. And she did all the character voices and there's this one part in Winnie the Pooh where Pooh is like into something scary, and she would always do these dramatic pauses, and then like make it just really fun. And so that was really where my love of reading began. It was just like my mom being so incredible in reading me these stories before nap time.
Yeah.
And I was the kid who would stay up late under my blankets with like a hidden flashlight, and my parents would come down the hall and knock on my bedroom door and be like, "You have to go to school in the morning. Would you please stop reading?" Which I love. It's so funny.
Yes.
And I remember my freshman year of college, I came home for Christmas break, and my parents had bought me the like a book set. I can't even remember what books they were, but I sat and devoured the book set at Christmas. And my dad was like, "Are you just going to read all Christmas Day? Is that all you're going to do?" And I was like, "Do you not know me at all? Of course, this is the perfect Christmas day." So I just have always loved reading and been a big reader. I'm a big daydreamer too. So when things get really stressful or I can't fall asleep at night, I'm always daydreaming and creating little stories and characters. And that's sort of my favorite stress management technique.
Yeah. I love that.
And then for writing, I've always, so I went to school, I went to college for broadcast journalism, and my big dream was to be a war correspondent. I like double majored in political science and broadcast journalism, hoping to be like embedded
Mm.
with a troop, to sort of like be a war correspondent. And my parents obviously did not love that idea. It's very scary for them. And I actually ended up dropping out of college in my junior year, and I went to
Hmm.
work at a commercial nuclear power plant, which is a very huge kind of pivot in life, which apparently I'm no
Yes.
stranger to. I've done a lot of pivots, and I ended up working in commercial nuclear power for over a decade. So I started out as a plant operator, basically taking care of the equipment inside the nuclear power plant. And then I went to licensing class and I became a licensed nuclear reactor operator. And currently, if you're wondering, like, how many people possibly do that in America, there are currently only around 3,600 people who are licensed as nuclear reactor operators.
Dang.
Yeah. So it is incredibly challenging to
Yeah.
get your license. And it's a tough technical career. I will say I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved the career itself. But
Hmm.
being in a male dominated industry was
Hmm.
eye opening to me. And let's just say I'm so grateful now that I spend my day with the male characters in my brain instead of
Yes.
the male characters that I used to work with.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I was pivoting out of that career, I really I decided it was time to have children when I was 29, when I decided I wanted to have kids. And I knew like once I had my son that that career was just like not going to be sustainable for me anymore. It was very, very
Sure.
stressful. And so I ended up, after I had my daughter, in 2021, I left that career. I sold my house. I moved my 2 year old and my 5 month old to Tennessee to be by my parents. And I just sort of like was in oh my gosh, the deepest, darkest depths of like, oh no, oh
Yeah.
no, what's going on with my life? I lost my identity. I thought I was going to be in that career forever, forever.
Yeah.
Until I retired, that was going to be it. It was such a huge accomplishment. So much of myself and my self worth was really tied
Hmm.
to that achievement. And so, excuse me, to find myself now, like without a career, like with two little ones who are depending
Yeah.
on me, and just to know that I wanted to show them that they could follow their passion, that they could, live a life that brought them joy. Um, that's really how I started writing.
Yeah.
I have always loved reading, and I thought I can do this. I can write a story, and here we are.
Yes. Here we are,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. Oh my gosh. Was your first book that you wrote Hank,
No.
or did you write something first? Okay.
Yes. So there is a
Mhm.
book that we don't talk about.
The book
I,
that shall not be
that's
named.
right. That's right. Yes. I choose not to really talk about. I don't like advertise it or anything like that because it was a book to prove to myself that I could do it.
Okay.
And it was really it's not romantic suspense. It's not like on Tilly Brand. So um yeah, we don't talk about that. But Hank is what I consider like my first real book. Yeah.
Yes. So that was your second.
Yes.
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 I love it.
Yep.
I love them
Okay.
so much. Okay. Incredible. So let's talk. That makes me want to go to Mid and Clarence County, but I'm like, wait, pause. We have other things to discuss first. So, speaking of though, like the book that shall not be named and kind
Mhm.
of finding out who you are and your brand identity and all those things, we are amidst a rebrand. We,
Mhm.
because I work for Tilly.
Yes. Dream team.
She's the best. Yes. And it's so exciting and so fun. Can you talk about what has led you to decide to do a rebrand and kind of balancing? I think you and I talk a lot about like I am proud of myself. I am proud of everything that I've done, and it's okay to change and evolve and want to be better and
Mhm.
hold space for still being proud of what you started with. Like I tell you all the time, I'm like,
Mhm.
I look at my old videos and I'm like, bless her heart, but she was trying and
Yeah,
she was doing it, and it was the look at the time. Like, and so,
exactly.
can you talk about your experience of a rebrand as an author and all that exciting stuff?
Yeah. So when I started with the book that shall not be named, I wasn't thinking like career path minded. I
Yeah,
was thinking like hit this incredible achievement and like that's it.
yeah.
But
Write a
with
book.
Hank, yeah, right. With Hank and Men of
Yeah,
Clarence County, I was like, oh, this is a career that I am building. Like
yeah,
this is going to be my legacy. And so with the rebrand, my first thought is, of course, like I'm thinking of my readers. I want them to have the best experience when picking up my book. And that starts with what the cover looks like. Do they not like, model covers? Maybe they like discrete
yeah,
covers. So is that an option we can have for them? Making sure that everything fits cohesively so that they know, hey, this is a Tilly book. Here's what I can expect when I pick up something of Tilly's.
yeah,
And that's really important to me. I'm thinking every single word that I type out in my book, I'm thinking like, how is my readership? You know,
yeah,
is this going to be good for my readership? I want when people choose to pick up my book and they choose to like spend their hard-earned money on something that I wrote that came from my soul, like that means the world to me. And I want
yeah.
everyone to have the best experience and to know what they're getting into when they
Yeah,
pick up my books. Yeah. So
absolutely. I know that Victoria talked about this on her episode. She's like, when you have a cover like that, you're like, you better make the inside match. And
yes.
so I feel like you're kind of the opposite, where it's like
Yes.
when you have a book like this, you want to feel like the outside matches what's on the
Yeah,
inside. And your
exactly.
covers are great as
Thank
is,
you.
but I think when we're discussing it, it's just like I think you and I are also always in the pursuit of better.
Yes.
Like, how can I be better? How can I grow? How can I make things better? And so I think that this was a result of us asking, like, how can I be better?
Yes.
And it's going to be so exciting, and the concepts and the ideas are so beautiful. So I can't wait for that to be in people's hands.
I know. It has felt like Christmas Eve for so, so
Yeah,
long. So like all the build up to everything. And now that it's like the second half of the year, things are going
yeah.
with that. Oh, I just am so excited for what's
It's going to
coming.
be amazing.
Yeah.
I know you and I have been like in August, in August, in
Yes.
August. And now we're in August and it's
Yes.
like on your mark, get set, go.
Yes. Yes. I know.
That's how
It
it
has felt
feels.
like Christmas Eve and then you wake up and you're running a marathon on Christmas. That's what it feels like.
Literally, it's the
Yes.
turkey trot.
Yes. That's
That's
so
what
funny.
we're doing.
Yes, totally.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love
Oh,
it. Okay. Yes, the rebrand is so exciting. And I feel like you pour yourself into every single one of your books. Especially knowing you, you're just the kindest, most gentle hearted, lovely person. And
thank
I feel
you.
like that reflects a lot in your FMCs.
Hmm.
Can you talk about the FMC archetype you lean towards? I feel like we've discussed, you feel as though your FMCs get some criticism
Hmm.
for the archetype that they are. And
Hmm.
I want to talk about that. And I disagree. I think we both disagree. We're like,
Yes. Yes.
so let's talk about your
Okay.
FMCs.
Yeah. So my FMCs, I would say, are very typically softer people. So they
I love
have,
them.
I think it's because my own self, I would say I am a very
Yeah.
soft-hearted person, and
Hmm.
really this reflects back a lot on working in nuclear. I was constantly told, like, don't smile so much, don't be so happy, nobody's going to take you seriously. You have to be tougher, you have to be meaner. All of those things that are is just against who I am as a person. And also, um, I really have lived an experience where it's like you can't fall apart. Like don't you dare show emotion, don't you dare like
Yeah.
lean into that, and especially in such a regimented industry. I can tell
Sure.
you there's this hilarious story. I um I did really bad on a test one time in licensing class,
Hmm.
and really bad. So you have to pass with an 80. An 80 or higher is
Okay.
passing for these classes. And I got like a 78 on a test.
Yeah.
And I went out to my car and I cried in the parking lot. And I got back into work, and my boss pulled me aside and said, "We can't have you crying in the parking lot. You can't be out crying in your car. That's not appropriate or acceptable." And
Where do you
so,
want me to cry then?
right, I still have to be at work. I can't cry in the bathroom. I can't cry. So it actually
Yeah.
became like a running joke in our license class. Don't go cry in the parking
Yeah.
lot. But so really, I feel like a lot of my FMCs are struggling with that. They're looking for someone who is safe to be vulnerable with. And that is really something that I too struggle with, because I feel like so much rests on my shoulders that I have to be the strong person.
Hmm.
And so to like be able to portray someone finding that safety and finally being able to be emotional, be soft, be their true, feel their true feelings. That's really what I enjoy writing.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I find it to be so beautiful. I also feel as though you just write very real situations and characters. I've discussed this on the podcast multiple times on just solo episodes, but with your romantic suspense, oftentimes, like, I feel like in a lot of romantic suspense, the suspense will hit at like 90 to 95%. It'll resolve and the story will be done. And I feel like you do such a great job of like, it's going to hit earlier, and then we're going to see the aftermath of this. We're going to see the way that this impacts these people. And I really, really appreciate that. And then on the flip side, I really appreciate um, you write such raw, real, relatable characters in the sense of like they're not perfect people, and neither am I. And I feel like in today's day and age, in 2025, we're getting a lot of perfect characters, and that's very palatable and lovely. However, not everyone's perfect. It's like, have you made the perfect decision every single time?
That is probably the biggest complaint. So if you were to ask me what character I think I most like or who is
Yeah.
most Tilly in my writing, I
Mm-hmm.
would tell you first and foremost Grace from the book Jackson,
Yes.
which is the
Mm-hmm.
second book in the Men of Clarence County series. She is me and how I would react in the situation that she is
Yeah.
in her book. And I get a lot of flack for how I wrote that. And I, it really like hurt me at first because I was like, this is the character
Sure.
who is me on a page. But then I realized
Yeah.
like not everybody has the same lived experience as me, which is what I love
Sure.
about writing and reading because you learn,
Yeah.
you've talked about it before, how you become a more empathetic person through these
True.
experiences of the characters. Um, but it is hard. We are human, and those are the
Mm-hmm.
stories that I want to tell, even though it is fiction, even though it's made up in my mind, and some of the like plot points are crazy.
Sure.
It still is, I try to write as true of a reaction as I possibly can.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
think it's beautiful and stunning. And I think people struggle and wrestle with two things in a character. A character that does something that they would never themselves
Hmm.
do, and B, a character that would do exactly what
Hmm.
they would do. And that's sometimes a really hard pill to swallow,
Hmm.
I think, is
Yes.
to see maybe even pieces of yourself that you don't love
Hmm.
reflected back at you. I think maybe even more so than a character you don't understand, that's the most difficult read,
Yes. It
I
definitely,
would say.
I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. It is, yeah, it is hard to see maybe something you think you struggle with in yourself. Yeah. And yeah, it reflected back to you in the story. I totally agree.
Maybe just something you
Agree.
don't
Yeah.
love that you would do or whatever. I
Yeah.
just think you do such a beautiful job of writing the human experience,
Thank you.
especially in a genre like romantic suspense, where if you're gonna get kidnapped, you're not gonna be fine. Like,
Yes. I am
you
huge
know?
a believer in therapy, so I try to write as much like nods to going to therapy as possible because
Yes.
I cannot imagine being kidnapped or like somebody stalking me or like
Yeah.
having some sort of violent situation erupt in front of me
Yeah.
and then just being like, oh,
You're good.
yeah, I'm good. I made chocolate chip cookies today. Like it's just I would not
Yeah.
process things that way. So I
Nope.
would eat all the chocolate chip cookies, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yes, I love therapy, so I try to write that into my stories.
You're you're like Oprah, but Tilly, you go to therapy and you go to therapy and you
Yeah.
go to therapy.
I
It's
love
awesome.
therapy for everybody. I love it.
Yeah. Well, and even like as your series progress, you see the impacts of these situations on these people. They're interconnected standalone, so you
Yeah.
can't read them alone, but it is really beautiful. Like your second book in the Silver Spring
Hmm.
series is Silver Secrets is very much so this way. The FMC in that book, you kind of see her journey going into book three of like she's still
Hmm.
touching grass after that.
Yes.
And I think that that's like a really beautiful thing in an interconnected series to see people's growth that way. So I'm going on and on. Um,
I love
I
it.
just love the way you write your characters. I just think it's so beautiful and one of a kind, and I
Thank
love it.
you. Thank you.
Speaking of beautiful and one of a kind and all of the things, we have just developed such a fun and lovely friendship, and I just love and adore you.
I feel the same.
And we were discussing before the podcast just about the different kinds of love and all of those kind of things. And this is very much so a leading question, but can you speak on that a little bit and how it impacts you writing romance books and what love looks like for you in your life and how that reflects on page, etc.?
Yeah, I would love to. I think touching on your interconnected standalone point just a minute
Yes.
ago, something I really love writing and found that I loved writing throughout the Men of Clarence County series is these deep, true friendships between the characters and this sort of deep, intense, platonic love that really we as humans desperately need. You know, there is nothing better than having a sweet friend who you know you can count on, you know, you can talk to. There's no depth of secret that like they would not stand by you for. And I think that's really beautiful. There is there's just such a disconnect in our lives right now. I think especially after like COVID happened and we were all, you know, sort of very much physically disconnected from each other, seeing each other and interacting. Um, and the world that has been after COVID, it's just so important to have those deep sort of friendship connections. And even if I'm somebody, I physically live thousands of miles away from my friends. We live 1,000 miles away from each other. One of my best friends lives in Ecuador, another one lives in New York City. Some still live back in my hometown in central New York, and I'm in Florida. So it's like it's very hard, but I have these friendships in my book that I get to experience and that feel real, and I get to see that depth of love, you know, and a reminder of how important those friendships are, which I really that's something I love so much about writing interconnected stories is that you just get to continue to see these friendships build and grow and change and really watch these people be there for each other. And then, of course, there's romantic love in romance stories. And that is something I myself, at 36 years old, have never experienced personally. I have I have not yet gotten to have true romantic love in my life. And so that is, I'm getting a little bit teary, teary. That is something that you know, I have struggled with and to feel again going back to my FMCs being softer and like feeling lonely and feeling, you know, like they don't have anybody to share those emotions with. That's what really why I try to write MMCs who are so emotionally aware and also like very strong and open. Because I think that there's just something so beautiful about experiencing that deep like romantic human connection that we all crave. And it's also a little bit, I'm a big believer in manifestation. So I
So I was
write,
gonna say, I was like, you're
yeah,
manifesting one MMC
I
at a time.
that's right, yes. All of my MMCs have like a specific trait that I would love to manifest in a partner for myself.
Yes.
And also I am in therapy doing the work to also be a good FMC for my eventual
Yes.
MMC, you know. So
I love that.
yeah, it's just it is a different perspective. I know there are a lot of readers, myself included, who this is really the first experience they have with romantic love. And so
Yeah.
even though I write, you know, some of my FMCs have exes who are horrible to them, I write MMCs who love them truly, deeply, would do anything for them because I want that to be the standard. You know, I want
Yeah.
that bar to be set high for my readers who are, you know, potentially reading this thinking of a partner that they're going to have in life, just
Yes.
like me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about just how reading has changed my expectations for my friends. I actually was not a reader. I started reading on my honeymoon.
I
So I
love
was too late.
that. That's
I know. However, Mr. Page and Print is a dream. He really
mm-hmm.
is. And I think I didn't luck out because I had
Mm-hmm.
very high expectations and standards for him.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do um, feel extreme gratitude towards him for like making what I read in my real life.
Mm-hmm.
However, I say all this to say, I tell my friends all the time, I was like, I would rather you be alone than for settle for less than what you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And if these are setting the expectation, your books are setting expectations for you, of course, realistic expectations,
Yes,
like
of course. Yeah.
perhaps not our dark romance. Like, I don't
Yes,
know,
yes. I don't
whatever.
expect somebody
But
to buy
realistically,
me like a Jaguar or something, like
yeah, a billionaire. But
yeah.
it's like, what a beautiful thing to get to read and discover like what you would want in a partner
Hmm.
through stories or write that. I just
Hmm.
think that that's beautiful and lovely and exciting. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I know that there are going to be a lot of listeners that relate,
Hmm.
and I think it's beautiful. We're
Thanks.
all on our own paths and journeys.
That's right. I will say,
Yes.
I did mention I have children earlier, so I did have my
Yes.
children on my own.
Yes.
So I went through fertility treatments, and that's why I do a lot of fertility treatment representation and fertility
Yeah.
struggle storylines, because I think that that is, again, just like a very real human experience right now. And
Absolutely.
I love telling those stories. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful and incredible. So I'm so, so glad that you share that. And I know I'm not the only one. Everyone clap and cheer. Yay. Okay. Total pivot. Let's talk about your debut series, Men of Clarence County. I know we touched
Mhm.
on it a bit with the found family of it all and just this community that you created in Clarence County. And then we can talk about the Navy SEALs, the incredible Silver Secrets, or Silver Sanctuary. Whoa, come on now, Silver Springs. I'm gonna list every book, and then we'll get to Silver
I love
Springs.
it.
Come on now. All right, let's
Perfect.
start with Men of Clarence County and
Yes.
talk about maybe even like, did you have all of their stories already plotted and in mind going into it, and what was your process?
Perfect. I am the true definition of a pantser. Like there is basically what will happen is a one scene with the characters will pop into my brain and then they will
Yeah,
not shut up about it until I write it down on the
love it.
paper. And then I sort of just build the story around the one scene and like where I want to get the story to go, which is
Yeah,
wild. It is a wild roller coaster of an experience, and I'm trying to move away from that because it does stress me out that sometimes I don't know where
yeah,
things are going or how they're going to solve. But I started actually writing Men of Clarence County with Jackson and Grace, which is the second book.
yes,
And as I was writing it, Hank and Daisy popped up in the storyline, and I was like, wait a second. These two are absolutely adorable together. I love them.
yeah,
They have to have their story first. So I was pretty much like 80% done with Jackson, and I started writing Hank. And I
yeah,
I love their story so much. Hank is so grumpy, and I really love writing grumpy male
yeah.
characters. I just think there's something so fun and delicious about a grumpy man
Yep.
who is like so in just like so intensely in love and kind and soft with their partner.
So good.
So yeah, I am a fool for those types of stories.
I love
And
that.
I know. So yeah, I started writing Hank, and so the way they're connected, Grace and Daisy are cousins, and
Yes.
so they are family together. And then we have Sebastian, who's a billionaire, and he sort of comes into town at the end of Jackson's story because they know each other from their time serving in the military.
Mhm.
And yeah, I love all the stories. I will say, so the end of the series is Jonathan, who's a single dad, and Abby is his main lady. And Abby then is a sibling to Samuel, who's the last book. They're all like connected.
Yes.
They're all family. It's all very,
I
very
love it.
fun. But I will say that Sam and Evie's story, oh, I just love that story. I love all of my stories, but
Yeah.
there's just something so special. Sam and Evie's story is she's pregnant, not his baby, which is one of my favorite things to write.
Classic.
And Evie is very much me. Like there is so much in her story that is me just being ridiculous and putting
Yeah.
myself on the page. So
Love it.
we we have some fun with that. And their epilogue, the epilogue in Samuel is an epilogue for the entire series, and it's one of my most favorite things I've ever written. I love it so much. So
Yeah.
if you're an epilogue skipper and you read Men of Clarence County, I'm begging you, please stick around for the epilogue in Samuel. It
Yes.
is so worth it. I promise. I promise.
Uh, I love it. I was
Yeah.
talking about this with someone the other day. I am not an epilogue skipper.
Hmm.
However, I am usually a bonus skipper. So if
Oh
there's
yeah.
like a like another like which I know it's not my best quality, but I'm always in such a rush. Maybe I
Hmm.
need to slow down. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the answer.
I
What's
will
one more
say
chapter?
that's right. I will say there is a bonus for Hank and Daisy that you can sign up
Yes, I have
for.
read that one
Yes, it's very sweet.
because I love
I
them.
yes,
It is.
I love
I
it.
love them.
They're so sweet. And
Yeah.
writing their bonus scene, I cried the whole entire time I was writing that.
Yeah,
So it's a
they're
common
so
theme in my
sweet.
writing. It's a common theme, like just to be bawling as I'm typing because I love them so
We
much.
cry a lot around
Hmm.
Team Tillich Colson.
We
That's
do.
just kind of what we do.
We
We're
do. And
just
you know what?
criers.
That's perfectly okay. It is so
And
great to
ain't it
let
the
your emotions
truth?
out, and shine. Yes, I'm all for
Yes,
it.
I will never not cry.
Yes, we don't have to
I
go to the
won't.
parking lot.
Nope,
We
no
don't.
parking
We
lot
just cry in the
cries.
open.
Exactly. On voice notes all the time.
That's right.
Yep.
I love
Oh
it.
my gosh. Yes. Okay, let's get into Silver
Ah,
Springs, not all the other
I
titles.
love. Yeah.
I will ask, I know the answer, but I know we get this question a lot.
Mhm.
Does it have anything to do with Fleetwood Mac?
It does not. I am not a like music. I am a music person. I love music, but I'm
Yeah,
like a Celine Dion music person. Like I am like of the
sure.
early '90s
Yes.
music person. So, which that song is of like like of that
Yeah.
era. But like I am not good with like name titles and who's singing what or whatnot.
Yeah.
So no, that it didn't inspire it. However, I love that song. I love
Great song.
everybody. There's so many people who messaged me to ask. It says like I need to look up what this song is, and I was like, oh, I know this
Yeah.
song, and it's so good. It's such a good song.
So good.
There's actually a town like an hour away from where I live now in Florida called Silver Springs. So it's like
Amazing.
it's so funny that they're like it's all around
They're
me.
here.
It's all around.
It
It's like the
is.
signs. It's the universe.
That's exactly what I was
I
going to
love
say. I was
it.
like, it was written in the stars.
Hmm.
However, I feel like we're not going to talk about it and I'm not going to get into it, but book four in the series kind of does give Silver Springs vibes.
Yeah. Hmm.
You'll never get away from the sound of the woman
Hmm.
that loves you.
That's right. Hmm.
I will not get
Skeleton
into it, but I
page.
will just, yeah, I'm just going to say we're talking about book three, and book three's incredible, like
Hmm.
incredible, incredible. But I did just alpha read book four in Silver Springs, and I will never be the same. I just won't.
I love
Everything is not fine.
that.
It has altered me as a person,
Oh,
and yeah. So, but there are a lot of lead ups into book four and book three.
hmm.
So,
Yes.
so we're gonna continue. How did you come up with Montgomery Defense, the Navy SEAL team? I know we get a bit of that in Sebastian's story,
Yes. Yes.
but can you talk about what it was like to choose this direction for this series as your
Hmm.
second, etc.?
Yeah. I was completely immersed in Men of Clarence County when I was writing Sebastian's story, and part of
Hmm.
his story is that he brings in his former Navy SEAL teammates to they're kind of all working together doing government contract work and stuff like that since they've left the Navy SEALs. And when Emma, his FMC, is sort of like he realizes she's really in danger, he's like, "No, we're not taking any chances here. Like we're bringing in my former teammates." And so you meet
Yeah.
all of them. And one of my favorite things ever is how many comments I get about Gunner, who is the MMC in the first book, Silver Linings, how much people hate him in Sebastian because he is so
Funny.
grumpy, so mean, and he leaves. His mom is sick, so he leaves to go
Hmm.
be with his mom. And you don't see him the rest of Sebastian on the story, but that's right where Silver Linings picks up. So you see him
Yep.
right when he gets home um, to deal with his like mom passing away and all of this stuff. So it was it just sort of like happened again. I'm not planning these things. These characters are just like, listen,
Yeah.
this is how it has to be. And
Yep.
so I just, again, Silver Linings is such an incredibly special story to me. When people ask, like, what, what book is your favorite? What characters were your favorite? I don't really have a favorite. I'm usually like very intensely in love with whoever I'm writing at the time. Um,
Yeah.
but I will say personally, Silver Linings is the book I reread of my own writing when I need to like remember that, okay, I am a writer. Like I am,
Yep.
I'm good at this. This is the book that like reminds me of, yeah,
Yes.
I'm good at this.
Yeah.
I can do it. So
I love
yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
such a good book. It
Thank
really
you.
is. And how did you come? So all of the guys in
Hmm.
Silver Springs have their, is it call sign or
Yeah,
their,
their
yeah,
nickname, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
How did you come up with those?
so one, I am a huge fan of when people do this in a book. It's I know as a reader, it's like hard to keep track of who the nicknames are for who. So like I
Yep.
always try to keep a key in the beginning of my stories for the readers to like jump
Yes.
back to see until you're like really immersed in the world and you can remember
Yep.
the
And then you're like, I
nicknames.
know them.
Yes, but I thought to, again, working in nuclear power, we all had nicknames, and a lot of the guys
Hmm.
had like their nicknames from their time if they served in the Navy nuke program. So it really was just some. It makes sense, right? Like Sebastian was the
Yeah.
team lead, so he's Cap, and
Yep.
um, Gunner is an expert sniper, so he's Reaper because he can take anybody
Yep.
out, and they're meeting the Grim Reaper when they see him. So, and Stone is Doc because he was the medic. So, like, a lot of them really make sense. And personally, I love Hawk's nickname or call sign or whatever, which is Phoenix, because he is a very, like, cocky, I've got this, like, no problem. I'm going to come back no matter what sort of attitude. And
Yep.
he's such a fun character, to write. So,
Yeah.
really,
The king of rising from the ashes, if you will.
yeah, exactly. Yes. So it just was
Yes.
thinking about overall like their personalities and also like their position in the team and things like that. So it's always fun.
Yep.
I also love coming up with nicknames for like in couples. I know sometimes people are like,
Yeah.
these are so crazy, but I really do try to only use a nickname if it works. Um,
Yeah.
so like in Jonathan, he's a sheriff's deputy. So Abby calls him deputy, and it's like really this like
Yep.
cheeky thing that they have.
Sassy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like
I
daddy,
love
but
that.
he's like deputy.
Yes. I love that. I am always a nickname truther, but I'm a nickname truther like in my own marriage. Like I bless his heart. It's honey, it's sweetheart, it's
Hmm.
lovey, it's my
I
love.
love
Like
that.
it's and
Hmm.
he's like, you're just gonna answer to any of them, please. Um I and we're good and southern. Like both
Hmm.
of us are from Tennessee, so I'm a nickname truther. And I talk about this with Molly a lot. She was my last guest episode,
Hmm.
and we love Molly.
Hmm.
And we, you either have a standard nickname couple or a like unique nickname
Hmm.
couple, and it's so funny. Like it's going to be a babe, love, honey, and then there's going to be like sunshine or
Yeah.
like like something really specific, and
Yeah.
usually you can tell like right off the bat like, okay, this MMC is going to be a regular nickname type of guy or he's
Hmm.
going to get creative with
Yeah.
it, and it's so funny.
Yes.
Like I always like to try to guess before I get to the nicknaming of it all to
Hmm.
see if I think that they're going to be a regular nickname, like pet name, or if it's going to be
Hmm.
like something wild and off the wall.
Yes. Not to bring up
Yeah.
something we can't talk about, but also in book four, the
Yes.
I love the nicknames in book four.
Don't
So,
get me started on book four because I'll never be the same. Y'all, I'm sorry, but it's just it's one of the most unique things I've ever read, and so you should read all of them to get caught up.
hmm. Yes.
You have plenty of time.
Hmm.
Um,
And
but
it
we
is truly
digress.
important. I feel because like the found family
Yes,
aspect in that book is so intense and beautiful, and like you need to understand the dynamic between everybody
absolutely.
before you get to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so worth all the books leading up to it are
Yes.
so worth reading as well.
I
So
love this series.
yes, it's just so good. So let's talk about Silver Sanctuary, which is
Yeah.
releasing this week.
I'm
This
so
week.
excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this to be out in the world. So, can you give your brief overview of Silver Sanctuary?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hmm.
And frankly, I feel like I kind of think this might be your angstiest book.
Mm,
I don't know why. I just feel like specifically our FMC story, it's
mm-hmm.
just she's been through a lot. So chat
Yes.
with us about it.
Yeah. So Silver Sanctuaries is a single mom romance. So we have our FMC Lacey, who is moving back to Silver Springs. She grew up in Silver Springs, and there was this
Hmm.
very big tragedy that happened that her mother was responsible for. And so basically, when she was a teenager, the town sort of never forgave her for the actions of her mother.
Hmm.
And she ended up moving away. She now has a 9-year-old daughter, Embry, who she wants to make a better life for. And Sebastian is actually leading an initiative in the town of, like restoring businesses and trying to like build the town for everybody. So he has a grant in place, and Lacey applies for a grant to open a flower shop, and she gets the grant, so she moves Embry and herself back to Silver Springs. And you see a little bit of this if you've read Silver Secrets. You see Nash meeting Lacey for the first time. So there's always like this little like lead-in chapter that I tried to do from one book to the next book. And it's a very sweet scene, but there's a lot of tension in it too. There's a lot of tension because almost immediately upon returning back to Silver Springs, the town lets her know she's not really welcome back.
Yeah.
So it's very sad to me and speaks a lot to there's this one scene in the book I will say where Lacey says the line, "I'm so lonely." She's just so she's just trying so hard and she's so lonely. She feels so lonely. And that just it resonates
Ugh.
so deeply because I feel every human has experienced where they're just going through something and it just feels like no one
Deep
hears them.
loneliness.
Yeah. Yeah, no one hears them. No one's coming to help. And if you haven't experienced that, I'm so happy for you that you have like
Yes.
that support system in
You
place. But
yeah, wouldn't wish that upon
yes,
anyone,
no,
but I
no.
think a lot of people have been there. And the thing about her that I think made me like people will know when you're reading an angsty romance, it's the we joke that your tag is brutal in the best
Yeah.
way. But it is brutal like and your chest is tight and
Hmm.
the thing about her character is like she's doing everything to make ends meet and not let her daughter know
Hmm.
that they are living differently than anybody else. Like
Hmm.
she sacrifices so much
Hmm.
to give her a normal life.
Hmm.
And it is like, it gets me every time, especially just like, I just can't even imagine what she's been through. And it's so
Hmm.
beautiful. And she's been through a lot, like, check your content warnings
Yes.
a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I
Yeah.
just, I love her. And
Yeah.
she's been through a very real, very difficult
Hmm.
life.
Yes. And this is definitely a he falls first story. Nash is sort of like
Hmm.
smitten from the moment he sees
Yeah.
her. And I think his actions to just truly show up for her and time after
Yep.
time after time remind her like no, this is what I want. This is you are my
Yep.
priority. You and Embry will always be the priority for me. It is also an engagement of convenience. I call it
So
engagement of
I was
convenience,
gonna say,
marriage
yeah.
of love, storyline. And I think it's just it's so there's so much that I want to like talk about, but there's so much I can't give away.
I know.
But just I love them
I love them.
when you get to their vows that they say to each other and just it yeah. I just love them so much.
They're so good. They're
Hmm.
so good. And the engagement of convenience is realistically for her protection
Yes.
against the town.
Yes.
And I think that our MMC is really kind of struggling with the balance of I'm doing this because I love them, and I'm doing this also to prove to myself that I can protect people.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
the balance and duality, and the fact that both of those things can exist and be true.
Hmm.
And I think that that's a really interesting internal battle for him. Your characters always, both of them have their own stories and
Hmm.
own conflicts to overcome, and then there's also a us against the world element
Hmm.
of it as well. You very, very rarely, if ever, have written me versus you.
Yes,
It's always us versus this.
yes, yes.
And I think
Which
that
is
that's beautiful.
that's my favorite. I think that again, it comes back to like having that partnership in somebody who can help you not only with like what you are, not only what you're like facing externally together, but like truly sees you for who you are and understands how to come in and support you to get through what you're struggling with, which I think is like
Yeah.
so incredibly beautiful.
So beautiful. Really, like, the series is just special.
I
It
love
just is. Like, I love it. And they're getting a brand new look
Yes,
here.
I know it's
And it's
exciting.
just like, it's all so exciting. Can This is the point in the episode where I
Mhm.
will refrain, but can you talk at all about what is next? I know there's
Oh,
going to be a big reveal here in 2 days
mhm.
at the end of this book of who this
Yes,
next one is about. Do we spill
yes.
the beans now?
Oh man.
Give the people a sneak peek for listening?
Yeah, okay, I would love to. Let me just
Yeah.
say, I have been teasing this on my Instagram stories for months, I feel like.
Follow
And
Tilly H.
yes,
Colson on
please come
Instagram.
follow me. We have a great
There's
time over
she
there.
a blast.
We
A
do.
blast.
We do. But I also, there's nothing I love more than throwing out like a hint to like an Easter egg, if you will. I love to
You're an
put the
Easter
Easter eggs in.
egger.
Yes.
You're a
So,
mastermind, a Taylor Swift. None of it was accidental.
yes, that's right. So I have
Yeah.
been, if you're like following along, we have two couples left in the series. And
Hmm.
one of the couples is May and Stone. And May and Stone have like a secret relationship that's kind of happening behind the scenes, but it's really only a secret now to like her brother, Hawk,
Yes.
because Hawk and Stone are best friends. And so book four is May and Stone's story.
Ah,
And if you've been following on Instagram, you know I have done nothing but cry this whole entire book
rightfully
writing it.
so.
Yes. So please prepare yourself for it. Yeah, it's,
Can we say the primary trope?
I don't know, what is
Can we say it?
it?
He
Oh,
has
yes,
amnesia.
yes. He, at the end, of course, the lead-in chapter to the story is very intense, and I think I will have some readers upset with me at the cliffhangeriness of it all, but Stone does end up with amnesia, and so we have to deal with that throughout their story. So it is, yeah, it's an intense one, guys.
It's
Get ready.
I we talk a lot. Like, I feel like we get the FMC with amnesia
Hmm.
almost always.
Hmm.
And so having the MMC and just the situation that they're in general,
Hmm.
it's so unique, it's so different, it's so special. Not well, special. It is special just from like a reader experience, but maybe
Hmm.
not for them.
Yeah, not
Maybe
for
it's
them.
not special for them.
I think,
That's not the word they would use to describe
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think they would probably choose not to do it, not to go through that experience. But I think it's so important if you read through the series, or if you're going to read through the series before,
Yeah.
Silver Sanctuary comes out, or you're following along. There is a common theme of May and Stone not being on the same page about like what is happening,
Right.
and then it's really you really start to see some differences in Silver Sanctuary. And so we're
Yes.
dealing with that and the aftermath of those differences in the next book, in book four.
Yeah.
And also, again, the found family aspect of book four is just
It's
so
next level.
intense. And sometimes it's not in a good way. Sometimes the found family is pushing for something that, you know, it's tough to deal
Everyone's
with.
just
So
doing the best they can. It's a
yes,
almost impossible situation.
it is.
And I mean, I think everyone, at least once in their lifetime, is kind of placed in an impossible situation.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lose lose.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do the next right thing as best
Mm-hmm.
as you can.
Yep.
And I think that that's a situation that's not discussed very often
Yeah.
because it's not fun.
Right.
but it's real and it's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful to an extent, like the humanity that comes with that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think that it's going to be, I feel it's your best work yet, personally, and it hasn't even been through edits. I read it 3 times, and I'm like, I have no notes. Like, I put it out, publish it, get it out there. Oh gosh, like it's just so, yeah, it's special.
Yeah.
It's different. It's special. The whole series. It's just, it's exciting. So
Yeah. We talk about like
anyway,
being proud, and I love the Men of Clarence County. Like that's my baby.
yeah,
That is like something I love. But it Silver Springs. I was just gonna do it. I was gonna say Silver Secrets.
yeah,
Silver Springs as a series feels like I'm locked in. It feels
yep,
very much like, yeah, okay, we're
yep.
cooking now. Feels fun.
And that's what Molly said on her episode. It's just
Mhm.
like you almost feel like your second series is your debut to an
Yeah.
extent because
Hmm.
you've got it figured out.
Yes.
And I think that that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So,
It's great.
yeah,
It's great.
I love it.
It is crazy to think Hank came out in January of 2024, and since then
Hmm.
I'm working on my 10th book. So like to have that much writing under my belt
Yeah,
in that amount of time, and the stories, it's wild to think. It's
it's
wild to think
wild.
about.
You're
Yeah.
on the go. Like,
Yes.
it's just, it's
We're
amazing.
cooking. Yeah.
We are cooking and exciting things to come.
Yes. Very exciting.
Do we want to share when to expect the next book?
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, let's do it. The pre-order is going to be up, in the back of the Silver Sanctuary's book, so you can
Yes.
pre-order it once you have your copy of Silver
Yep.
Sanctuary. But we are going to be seeing the fourth book in December, early December to be exact. So I'm very, very
Birthday
excited.
present for me.
Yes, yes, exactly. December 5th,
Yep.
I think is the date we're doing the
I'm so
release.
excited.
So
And
I
be
am,
sure to download Silver Sanctuary on release day to get the title reveal
yes.
of book 4.
Hmm.
I think it's my favorite title yet,
Oh,
I think.
I love it, and I love the way that it's worked into. I feel like Nash and Lacey's story also was worked really good into the title
Yes.
of like
Yes.
the idea of him being her sanctuary.
Yep.
But also I love book four, and the like it just works really well. So I'm excited for it.
It's it's everything about book 4, everything about the series. I just love it. Don't and listener, don't let this take away from book 3 because book 3 is
Oh,
incredible, 5 stars, no notes, like as well. I just think book 4 impacted me on a soul deep level,
yeah,
and
it
we've all
is.
been there.
Yes, I just want to remind you when you
Yeah.
read book four, like there is a happy ending. Don't lose sight of the fact that
Yes.
this still is a romance, and I promise, I promise, I promise there is
Yep.
a happy
Tilly
ending to the
Colson
book.
art always writes happily ever
Yes,
afters. Fear
yes,
not. I
yes,
think we're gonna need to. Jen McMahon has branded tissues, and I think we're gonna have to do the same for you.
yes.
Buy and give out branded tissues as
So that we
a
yes.
condolence gift.
If you read Silver Secrets and you thought you needed some tissues, then you're definitely going to need tissues for book four, for sure,
Yep,
for sure, for
it's
sure.
incredible.
So
Okay, well, we have a captive audience of Tilly H. Colson fans. Do you
oh,
have anything that you would like to share and say?
I just am so incredibly thankful for every single person who has ever even read one single word that I've written. Whether you decided that it wasn't for you, my writing wasn't for you, or you're one of the people who I message with daily and talking about my stories.
Yes.
I am just so incredibly thankful for everyone to have this career, to get to be a full-time author, to get to show my children that I made my dream come true. You guys, I'm gonna cry. It just means,
Yes.
it means so much to me. And I wish I could give every single reader, if you are a hugger and would give me permission, I wish I could give you a hug
Yes.
because I just am so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. I am.
Yes. We're living our dreams over
Yes,
here.
we are. We are.
It's the
Yeah.
best. It's the best. So, If you have not read anything by Tilly yet, now's the time. She is just a phenomenal romantic suspense author. We talk a lot. She writes in third person.
Hmm.
However, it reads like first person. If you open it and say, oh no, just keep going, you're going to
Don't
be
you?
fine. I promise. It's all going to be
Yes.
okay. I'm a primarily first person reader. You're going to be okay. We can
Hmm.
do this. And the stories are just phenomenal. So thank you for taking the time to be here today. Tell your kids hello because they're stars as well. And I think we'll see you in the next one. We're going to have to do one for book 4 after all of this, after
For
me
sure.
talking about it so much.
This was too
I
much
love it.
fun. I have to be here. I have to be here again. I have
I
to do
know.
it again.
I love it. We're doing it again for sure. Well, guys, thank you as always for spending your time with us, and we'll see you in the next one.